Hello and welcome to Valerie Yoga. My name is Valerie. Today we will have a 10-minute practice with our baby, incorporating baby into yoga. So this practice is best for parents that are cleared by their doctor for movement. Always want to make sure that you and your baby are cleared for movement of all kinds, right? And that your baby is approximately 4 weeks to 6 months. After 6 months, babies are very active and may not be able to lie still, which is fine. We want them to be moving around, but the techniques would be a little different. So think of this, about 0 to 6 months, and you're good. So this is my baby. It is a doll baby. So if you see me kind of moving this baby in different ways that don't look like your child, that's because this is the doll. Your child will have different joint relationships and things like that. But we will start in a comfortable seat. You could sit on a blanket, or I'm sitting on a block. You could sit on a block or even a couple of cushions. You want a blanket underneath their baby, especially if you're on hardwood floor, so that they're very nice and supported. Your baby will be on their back to start, and you're going to want to start with a connection to your baby in this yoga practice. First and foremost, connecting to yourself so you can connect with baby. So resting your hands on your lap or on your baby. Let's take a deep breath in and a long breath out. 2 more just like that. And 1 more. And if the eyes were closed, you can open them up. Take a look at your beautiful baby and then begin to rub your palms gently in a circle or up and down. So the signal to your baby that they're starting their practice. You're going to start with your hands at your baby's shoulder. Run your hands down the sides of the body to their feet, and then back, shoulders to feet. This movement can be really soothing for baby. It's a massage technique. Not all babies like this, and they're gonna let you know by either fidgeting or pushing back on you. We always honor the space of our baby when we do this work. I'm gonna take 1 more like that. Give your baby a gaze. Older babies might giggle. They kind of like this. Beautiful. And then from here, we're gonna take your baby's hands. We have a little song that goes with it. So the baby's hands come wide, and then you gently guide the hands into the center, and then out wide again. Okay. So as the hands are to the center, we'll say so, and as the arms are out wide, we'll sing big. So let's try it together. So big, so big, so big. Many times older babies will giggle and coo. Younger babies might look at you inquisitively, wondering what's going on. And again, if your baby pushes back on the movement, they're just letting you know that that was enough for now. The next phase is lifting the arms up and overhead, giving them a nice big stretch. Bring the arms back down along their side, and then try that again a couple of times, giving them a big stretch. You're keeping eye contact with your baby. And then once they're done with that, we're going to scoop up underneath baby's legs. So you're holding them right behind the thighs. You're not squeezing them. It's light pressure, and their hands are open palm method here. And then from here, you're just going to kind of give them a little bit of a squeeze of their knees in toward their chest, and then release. Squeeze and release. So this is definitely a part, if you're watching this video, you're not going to see much movement in my baby's knees, right? But your baby may or may not have more of that movement. Little babies, like really young, like 6 weeks old, they have that spring in the hip and in the knee. So they may not really have a lot of give forward or even back, right? So we're just going to go to their degree today. And then from here, take your palms right at the soles of the feet here. We're not pressing anything quite yet. We're really open palmed here. And then give a tiny little press to the knees, bending slightly, and then release. A tiny little press and release. Again, really, really gentle. And if your baby's pressing back with their feet, again, they're letting you know that they've had enough. Good. From here, let your baby relax for a minute. Maybe go back to that kind of brush stroke from shoulders to the feet, and then we'll start to move the hips around a little bit more. So again, scooping up under your baby's legs and then taking the legs in circles. I'll show you the side of my baby. So if we scoop baby up and we're circling the legs, we're getting some movement around this hip joint, but we're working the hip joints together. This can be good for indigestion, as can the pressure into the feet, right? Because that's a chair pose for babies. So that can help. These circle actions can oftentimes help. And then you'll reverse the direction. So get one way and then the other. All the while, you're breathing really gently, talking with your baby, you're keeping that connection, and eye contact helps with the bonding experience with you and your baby. Now, if you have an older baby or your baby seems receptive to these movements, you might scoop up just one leg and try that leg. It's a great way for you to check into mobility of your baby. You'll reverse the direction of that one leg. And if there's stickiness, generally it's okay. If you have a concern, talk to your doctor, and then you'll try the other side. You're taking those little circles. And again, not big, huge circles, nothing forced. Reverse. Beautiful. Let your baby rest for a moment, and then we'll start working into the arm and leg connection. So I will show you the movement on my body, as you'll probably see it better on me than my baby. But you'll be reaching one arm up of your baby and the other leg out. So there's this cross reach. It's called a star pose for your baby. So you'll be taking one arm and one leg out and just giving just a tiny little bit of a tug. Usually I will hold around the elbow or the wrist, around the knee or the ankle, and just give a little tiny tug. Again, we're not pulling, we're not yanking, and we're watching how baby responds to this. And then try the other side, just a tiny little tug, and that's giving them space around their joints. Typically babies, because they've been balled up in the womb, have kind of a hugging in of their joints, and we're offering them this space around the front body and the heart, and as well as the joints of the shoulder and the hip. Some babies like it, some babies don't. If your baby's crying and you're getting an indicator they don't like it, again, we're backing off. So always remembering that it's not your intention, it's for your baby's practice. Beautiful. This next one we'll do is a cross-body movement. Cross-body movements are essential for your baby's brain development. So in order for all of us to be able to read, in countries in which we read left to right, we want to be able to get these movements down to build pathways to the brain so that we can read in that way, right? So I know it sounds a little wild, but if we skip some of these stages, our brain isn't able to do some of those cognitive things that we might expect we'd be able to do. So if you have an older baby that's, say, about ready to crawl between 6 to 9 months, and they're not crawling, maybe they're just bear walking on hands and feet, or they're actually just going right to standing, you want to encourage crawling or cross-body movements to build that connection to the brain. So let me show you what that can look like in your smaller baby. So you're going to take a foot and a hand, cross it to the center, and see if they can touch. Again, no force. If they don't touch, we're fine with that. Release them wide, and then bring them into touch again. Really, really simple. Most babies like it. And then you'll try the other side. So you were wondering, how many times should I do this? Maybe 2 or 3. There's really nothing firmly in place. If your baby really likes it, you could do it a little bit more. Good. And then this one's more for my 6-monthers or 4 to 6 months, where there's a lot more head and neck development, and they might be starting to turn side to side, really thinking about getting crawling action going on and exploring their environment. So you're going to be taking your hands, drawing them together in their feet, almost like they're curled up into a little ball. If you do yoga and you take Abhanasana, this is what this is, wind relieving pose. Don't be surprised if your baby relieves some wind while they're here, right? And then rock a little bit to one side, over to the other, and you can see I have my hand on my baby's head. I'm making sure that my baby is all okay everywhere along the way. Some babies prefer only rocking to one side, and we're encouraging them to rock to both sides so that they're using their body equally side to side. If you ever notice yourself in your yoga practice, you probably use one side of your body differently than the other. So this is just to help encourage that equal use. And then once your baby is all set, we will go back to those long breast strokes. So rubbing the hands together, signifying that your baby's practice is complete. Bringing your hands to shoulders to feet and shoulders to feet. So from here, let's do a very small practice with our baby just to move our own bodies, right? So if you're sitting on something, you're gonna set that over to the side. I'm gonna move my baby so you can see me and what I'm doing with my baby a little bit easier. You're always welcome to move your baby around. Having a blanket works really well for that. I'm gonna start taking some cat-cow. So you'll be on hands and knees, your hands on either side of your baby, your knees about hip distance. And then draw your shoulders in and down, take a look up, round the spine, tuck the chin. Continue with these two shapes, giving a nice soft gaze, bonding gaze to your baby. And then coming back into center, you'll start to rock forward and back, opening a little bit more with your baby, with your body. Older babies might be getting really into this because anytime we move around our babies, they watch and they inquire and they're interested. Next time your hips are sinking back, feel free to take a child's pose. Knees are wide, hips are seated back. You're reaching your arms alongside your baby and maybe resting your head down on your baby or have the head slightly lifted so you can continue to look at your beautiful baby. Inhale and lift back up from here, coming back into your tabletop position. Bring your knees underneath your hips here. Extend your right leg straight back behind you, so on the ball of your foot, just press back. And again, you have this opportunity to say hello to your baby. Beautiful. And then bring weight into your left hand, reach the right arm up toward the ceiling. Take the top arm, reach it around, say hi to your baby with a tickle, and back around again. 2 more of those. Plant your right hand down, keep the right leg extended, and then draw the knee in toward your chest and take a step forward outside the baby. Reach up, feel the arms reaching, shoulders back. Okay, bring your hands back down to your baby and step your right foot back. Shift the hips side to side. Most of us will have some hip tension and stickiness after babies are born. And then let's try the other side. Left leg extends, come on the ball of the foot, press the heel back. We're getting some space into the calf muscle there. It'll be really important. And then other side, my back will be to the camera, but we're opening up here, reaching. Take your arm, reach it up and around, tickle baby, let them know you're there. Then come back into center. We're going to step that left foot outside your baby and forward, and then lift on up, reaching the arms up again. Bring your hands back down, step your left foot back. Come back into that child's pose. Lift up, find your tabletop position. Find your way to a seat once more. Baby can stay where they are or rest on you at your chest. If you're holding your baby, you want one hand on the back, one hand underneath the bum. Let your shoulders be soft. Maybe you close your eyes and breathe here. Just feeling that connection to your baby in a new and different way, a purposeful way, giving this another breath. Thank you so very much for attending this very short practice with your baby. Sometimes 10 minutes is all we get. Enjoy and let me know how it went in the comments. Bye.